to our documentary on the KZTV Action 10 News Studios. I'm Journey Garcia, accompanied by Amanda Ortiz.
Today we're going to talk to you about how this one small studio turned into something like this. But before that, let's take a trip back in time. KZTV's first broadcast was September 30th, 1956. It was founded by Van Kennedy. He wanted to use the station to still give the news to the people, but to also allow people who were beginning in the industry to have some training. In 2002, the station was bought by Eagle Creek Broadcasting, who changed the name from CBS Newswatch 10 to Action 10 News. In September 2010, Chris TV merged together with KZTV, where they now share the building.
Walter Furley was a news anchor at KZTV for over 40 years. He graduated with his Bachelor's of Fine Arts from UT Austin. Afterwards, he went to Corpus Christi and was on the KA6 AM radio station before working at KZTV. The owner of KZTV appointed Furley as the anchor and producer of the 12 o'clock newscast. It was the #1 outset until his retirement in 2002. He never missed a newscast in all those years except once when the news station was down for 10 days during Hurricane Celia. He was admired for his down-to-earth character and known to be active in the church, making many to recognize his humbleness. He was the person many families looked forward to watching every day at 12 and was highly trusted and admired.
You know, like Walter Furley. Before the changes were made back then, I loved Walter Furley. And I would hate to see him retire. But we knew it's time for Walter to retire, you know. And, hey, we're going to have to move forward with these stations. And, you know, he did retire, but it was heartbreaking because you're like, you know that this is what he loves to come do every day, you know. And you're like, oh, how's he going to adjust? He's my friend. What are we going to do, you know?
Let's listen to what the current news team has to say about the station's impact on the community.
Well, I think the station is very committed to the community. They try to do as much as possible. It works for their benefits, whether it be, you know, helping with, you know, fundraisers or even the Bucks Day Parade, which we won last year on the float. You know, so the station tries to do a lot of outreach with the community.
So having said that, how important do you think it is to establish a relationship with the community?
I think local news, if you don't have a relationship with your community, I don't think you have anything. I think that you have to know who your viewer is, and that is why I think having a person like Sonia, who is from Orange Grove, a person like myself who has grown up here, when they added us to the staff, I thought slam dunk, because we're, you know, Coastal Bend girls. We know what it's like. And you know, a lot of times I feel like, because in this business you have a lot of people who are not from here. They'll be in and out. But this place is just so special to me. And I really, you know, we really care about our community. And, you know, we do segments like the troubleshooters and, you know, things that are people behaving badly, things that are actually going on here in town. Because you have CNN and everyone covering the big stories. You have even Astros. There are so many outlets, ESPN, they're all covering that. We're telling the stories of our people around here, and that is special to us. It's unique to us. You're going to have a story being here from, you know, Corpus Christi, where you were born and raised. You have a special story. Everyone, I believe, has a special story to tell, and I feel like it's our job to get to know our neighbors. I think, you know, local news is, people say, you know, I get some of my news from Snapchat, I get some of my news from Instagram, I get some of my news from Facebook. But to really do stories justice, I think local news, that's kind of our, you know, like our job. That's what our goal is.
Speaking of community, why do you think it's important to establish a relationship with the community?
I think people need to be able to relate to you. I think when people watch you on TV, they want to be able to think of you as someone who could possibly live a few doors down from them. They need to be able to look at you and trust you, you know, and I think that's the most important thing, is going out there, making connections with the community, talking to the people, gaining their trust, so that A, they can trust you and what you're saying, and B, so you can become that person that they let into their house every morning, every evening, every night.
What kinds of things have you seen in the community, like based on the news?
Well, I mean, you know, you're starting to see a little more growth in Corpus Christi. When I first got here, I thought, man, you know, compared to the valley,
Yeah.
You know, you're thinking like, man, where's all the growth? Where's all the, how come this city seems like it's just stuck in the mud? But now you're starting to see a little bit of growth. And, a place where people can be proud of. Yeah, I'm from Corpus Christi, Texas, be proud of it and say, never move there in Corpus Christi, yeah, you just want to make it a better place. We're all living here, so let's make it as good a place to live as possible. That sounds idealistic, but anyway, it's, Channel 10 has made some strides even since I first got here in 2008, not just because of me, but, all of our efforts combined in there. It's just a consistency. It's a commitment to consistency and doing it the right way. And
what kind of things have you seen the station do for you or the community?
Well, we're always trying to get involved in the community. So, like, we know that if Tessa Barrera is going to be at an event, people are going to show up to meet Tessa Barrera. But that's not because we want them to go and meet Tessa Barrera. It's because we want people to go out to the event, Mm-hmm. We also enjoy people wanting to meet our crew, we're the number 3 station in Corpus. We know it, We are not number 1. We are not even close to competing with number 1 at this point. But we love, what we do. We have a very small staff with a lot of heart for what they're doing. You can have 50 staff members, but we only have, I think, about 7. And with our 7, we're very close, and we're very, we love the community. We love the community. People see them on TV, and some people are like, oh, I don't like that Tessa because she wears this. Or, oh, I don't like Sonia because she's got her skirt too short, And it's like, I get it, but you don't know them. Like, you don't know. I wish people knew them, because you would know that Sonia is one of the sweetest persons you'll ever meet. You'll know that Tessa is very outgoing and will never shun you anywhere, Mm-hmm. You see her, hey, I want to take a picture, that's fine, It's I don't know, it's a great thing, working with them, doing all that.
How important is it for the news anchors to establish a relationship with the community?
It's very important, because, in the end, we are a business, and you want people to watch you because you want the ratings. We are all competing to be number 1, no doubt. But it's kind of more than that. It's not just about ratings, Some people see it as, oh, they just want ratings. We hear it all the time. You're just showing that because you want ratings. We're just doing that because you want ratings, Yes, we want ratings, but that's not really our focus going into everything, Mm-hmm. It's like, wow, check out this story. It's amazing. Like, people should hear about this, It's not necessarily, wow, I think that's a great story because we could get ratings off of that, Yeah. It's not.
The station keeps up their involvement in the community by airing segments such as Troubleshooters, where Andy Lascano prevents businesses of taking advantage of you and fights for justice. People Behaving Badly, where John Rapolo goes out to catch people committing unlawful actions. Sonia's Weekend Rundown, where Sonia keeps you up to date on what's going on in Corpus every weekend. Kitchen Cops, where they tell you the cleanest places around town to eat. Drunk Drivers, where the community is informed on those who chose to commit the action of DWI. And Tessa Sports Challenge, where people in the community can challenge Tessa in any sport of their choice.
Over the past 50 years, the station has gone through many changes, so let's hear about it.
What changes have you seen take place at KZTV, and how was it before the 2 stations merged together?
The main thing is it became more competitive. Before it wasn't competitive. They tried to compete with the other 2 stations, the main stations in town, and they've gone in a different direction. With it's kind of more sensational type news and weather, and more emphasis on the sensationalism of news events that happen locally and internationally or nationally, as opposed to so it's a different brand on KZ than it is on the other stations. And it didn't used to be that way. They tried to have the same brand as the other stations, but do it in a cheap fashion, and it just didn't work. And they tried it for 30 years, and it never worked. Now they switched to something different, and it's working.
What changes have you seen take place at KZTV or between the two before they merged together?
Oh, a lot of changes. Well, do you have time? When I started, we were like multitasking like crazy. Like I was doing master control. I moved to promotions, directing, lots of technical stuff. And you know, when I started, we were running like music off of an 8-track tape. So yeah, I had to wait till that sucker rewound before I could replay it, you know?
Quickly, a quick answer to your question. That's why the management made a decision for Channel 10 now since 2014 when they brought in John and Tessa and Sonia and myself. We're going to make our newscast look completely different from Channel 6's and Channel 3's. Now, there's no other station in the country that would have the guts to do that, okay? Because they'd be too worried that advertisers, you know, the people who buy time would go, well, I don't want to be seeing on that. That's goofy. That's crazy. That's not the norm, okay? That's not what we're used to, okay? So they have taken they've taken a big gamble here. And they realize it's not going to, we're not going to be number one tomorrow morning. But if they stick with it, if we stick with it, if we continue to grow and get better, you know, sky's the limit. When they first presented this to us, I thought, and again, I'm an older guy, I've been doing this for a while, been around the country, been part of some really, really, really good newscasts, but they were all traditional newscasts. So when we started doing this, I thought, what the heck are we doing here, you know? But, you know, after a while, you kind of warm up to it, and, you know, working with John, you never know what he's going to do, so you always have to be on your toes. And that, you know what, at first I used to go, what? But now I got used to it. I'm used to it now, and you know,
what changes have you seen take place here at KZTV, or how was it before it all merged together?
well, I mean, it's, I think it's actually for the better, even though I'm very competitive. So I want to beat Channel 6, I want to beat but that's just me. I want to beat the paper, you know, that's just me. You got to compete. You know, it's all about who's in first place, to me. Okay, other people may look at it differently, but I'm very competitive. So having them move into our building, we share a lot of news with them. That just allows us to make sure that we don't miss anything. Sometimes we have stuff that they don't have. Sometimes they have stuff that we don't have. They have a lot more resources than we do. But it allows us to you know, eliminate the chances of missing something that, you know, we don't have the resources to go and get. There's only 5 of us on the KZ side. John, Tessa, Sonia, Marisol, and myself. So, and they all, you know, all 4 of those guys, Marisol and the girls and John, I mean, for, you know, being as short-staffed as we are, we do a pretty darn good job of getting the news.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into our history segment on the KZTV Action 10 News Studio. This is Journey Garcia
And Amanda Ortiz signing off.
Boom! Hi, thank you for tuning into. Accompanied by Amanda Ortiz.
Today I'm going to talk to you about how this small station turns out.
Let's take a look at what the. Ah, dang it! I said look. Boom. Eddie. That was horrible. Let's listen to what the current news team has to say about the station's impact. Was I doing it right?
Yes.
You got
Boom.
Off.
Boom.